languages from the English language was spoken and written in Anglo-Saxon updated around C450 century and C1150. Thus, it continued to be used for some decades after the Norman conquest of 1006. According to the Toronto University Dictionary of Old English corpus, the entire surviving body of Old English material from 600 to 1150 consists of only 3,037 texts, including manuscript with minor variants amounting to a mere 3 million words.
Languages: Old English and Norman French. Slowly, though, they started to mix. Old English, the language of the Anglo-Saxons, developed under Norman influence into something that we call Norman English, and the French of the Normans slowly developed into something that we call Anglo-Norman, until by about the middle of the 15th century, the two languages had mixed together to the extent that they formed a single language known as Early Modern English. There were several dialects of Middle English. The main ones were Northern, West Midland, East Midland, Southern and Kentish, while Celtic continued to be spoken in Scotland, Wales and Cornwall. The Ormulum, which dates from the second half of the 12th century, is an example of the East Midland dialect, while the South English Legendary, a compilation of the lives of saints written in the late 13th century, is an example of the Southern dialect. The Northern dialect is exemplified in Cursor Mundi, a historical and religious poem written around 1300. A translation of a French work entitled A Yen Bite of Inwit, meaning remorse of conscience, appeared in 1340 and is an example of the Kentish dialect. In the late 14th century, there were two works exemplifying the West Midland dialect. One was Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, an Arthurian romance, and the other was Piers Plowman, an allegorical poem. These are just examples, of course. There were many other works written during this period, but there's one that stands out above all the others, both as literature and as a very important influence on the English language, and that is the Canterbury Tales of Geoffrey Chaucer.
Middle English, a period of roughly 300 years from around of 1150 CE to around of 1450, is difficult to identify because it is a time of transitions between two eras that each have stronger definitions. Old English and Modern English. Before this period, we encounter a language which is chiefly Old Germanic in its character, its sounds, spelling, grammar, and vocabulary. After this period, we have a language which displays a very different kind of structures, with major changes having taken place, and each of these areas mainly deriving from the influence placed in each of these areas mainly deriving from the French following the Norman conquest of 1066. Modern language. Despite sharing many words with Modern English, however, Anglo-Saxon is another language from an entirely different world, long disappeared. No one living one, of course, knows exactly what it sounded like, so scholars make their best educated guesses using internal evidence in the secondary source in the other language from that time and similarities to other living language.